What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In the last video, I finally got to do a little cruising around in the Evo with Jagger and my dad. I do have a few other things that I want to do to it, but now that it's finally running right, I am going to take a little break because of all the kid toys and things like that around the garage. I've had to move things around to make room. My grinder and my drill press over here have taken up my workbench, so every time I need a little workspace, I have to make a mobile one. I'd really like to have that space back over there, so instead, I'm going to be making a little mobile unit for those tools when I need them. Stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, definitely go check out some of the other videos. I've been working on this thing for the past couple of years. For the most part, it is completely done. I know they say project cars are never finished, but I had a picture in mind and this is pretty much it. Like I said earlier, there are a few other small things I want to do. I've never really had a place to put my drill press and my grinder over here. This was always my workspace and it's been like this for probably the past couple of years. For this video, I'm trying to be as cheap as possible, so I'm just using what I have laying around the shop. I bought this stand when I had my table saw. I used the table saw for one project and this thing actually sat in the garage. I just put the table saw on the ground. Needless to say, it's pretty big and it takes up a lot of space, so I'm happy that I'm able to use this for something. The other thing that I have is this piece of fiberboard. It's just got a little cover over the top of it. A buddy was getting rid of it. He replaced his countertops, and so he just let me have it. The other option that I had was my big piece back there, but I think I'm going to leave that intact since it is the bigger one. This right here is plenty to do what I'm going to do with this. So this piece I'll just cut up, one piece to go over the top right here, and then one piece to go in the center. Other thing that I did pick up, I did not have, is I went to Harbor Freight and I picked up just one of these casters. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. What I really wanted to do with it is bolt these up right here. However, as you can see, there is quite a bit of space in there, so that's not going to work. I did happen to have this piece of 16 gauge sheet metal laying around. There is a bit of surface rust on it. This is what I use to build the brackets for my oil catch cans on the Evo. I can just build some attachment plates with that. I'll have to grind this down and I'll probably weld those on there, which is another good thing. It'll give me some welding practice. I'm not great at it yet. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and cut all of that up. I want to make sure that's all going to fit just how I want it, and then I'll start working on the casters. The bases are cut, top one fit perfectly. The bottom one down here, you see I had to cut in half. I was afraid that I was gonna have to do that. Not a big deal though, because this little ledge right here keeps this thing up. Bottom is completely done. I'm not gonna do anything else with that. However, the top up here, you can see that it still just slides around. It has these little holes drilled right here. I don't have any bolts and nuts or screws to fit this. I really don't want any hardware sticking up, getting in the way so that you can see it. I did do some pre-measurements with these screws. So this black one is just slightly too long, and this silver one is probably about the perfect size. I'm just going to run up to Home Depot and see what kind of lag screws I can find that are in this size. Bases are fully installed. I just went up to Home Depot. I bought some little 1-inch lag screws. Drill press and grinder are not installed on there just yet. Once I actually get them on there, I don't want to have to take them back off again. And I want to get the rollers and casters on here first. For these caster brackets, I'm just going to cut them out in the exact perimeter that they are. I'll get them traced out with the marker, and then I'll use my grinder to cut them out. Once I get them all cut out, I'll have to get all that rust off of there. I'll have to grind the paint off the bottom of these. I will catch back up with you guys in a day or two and attempt to get these things welded on there. Just finished getting the brackets made and everything prepped up for welding. Before I started making my brackets, I got in here and just cleaned up the bottom of this the best that I could. I was pretty much able to take all the paint off on the outside. However, the inside and the corner did have a really hard time getting in there. For my brackets, like I said, I just used the wheel here, laid it on top of my piece of sheet metal and just made templates. Got them all cut out, and then I had them soak in some CLR. The last thing that I did, because I used my angle grinder to cut all of these out, it leaves all of these little slivers of metal on the edges. Just pulled the bench grinder over here, set it up, and knocked all of those off. I was also able to knock most of that pitted rust off of there too. Everything should be ready to go to weld. I'm gonna get the bench grinder put back up, obviously, and then what I'll do is flip this thing over, get all of the bare metal cleaned up really good with some degreaser, pull the welder out here, and see what we can do. Table is all finished up. As far as usability, this thing turned out much better than I expected. These wheels roll super smooth, but let's just go ahead and talk about these welds down here. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I am a beginner, and when I say beginner, I mean very beginner. The first plate that I welded on, I actually tried to run a bead with it. I burned all the way through. I ended up just cutting it off, cutting another piece out. I didn't film any of it. Some of the corners look better than others. Some are obviously worse than others, but here's another one. The other two over here on this side. There's the interior. If you can see that, it's kind of dark. And then here's the other one over here. A couple of years ago, I really started practicing with the welder, then that's when I got the Evo, so I stopped. I'd really like to pick that back up again so I can get better at this. They are not the prettiest things down here, but from a structural standpoint, these things will be just fine. The good thing is that black paint matches really well and it kind of camouflages it down there. The undersides came out much better. It was obviously easier because you had those big holes in there and all you're really doing is filling it in and burning it into the sides. Did paint this underside too. I know you're not going to see it, but I don't want it rusting underneath there. It's actually been a few days since I finished up. It's been kind of crappy outside, so I haven't been able to do much. I've been in here doing little odds and end things. I actually hung my sign over here. I've already been using this thing a ton. It has helped out a ton, and like I said, this thing rolls super well. With that being said, I've decided not to permanently mount the drill press and grinder. This thing has just been so handy as a little mobile workstation that I don't want to put those on there. I know that was kind of the purpose of this video, was to make a stand for them. If I do need to use them, I can always just set them up here. I know this was just kind of a random video, but I love making things out of nothing. Everything on here I had laying around the garage except for the wheels. Aside from the aesthetics of the welds, super happy with how this thing turned out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss me building anything else out of random crap in my garage. And I will catch you guys next time.